like to call the meeting to order. It is March 23rd, 2026, 6 p.m. Let the record reflect that all elected board members, with the exception of Marianne, are present, and she is recovering from surgery. And our student reps are not here either. And we have a great audience, so thank you all for coming. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Granger, any changes or additions to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I approve the agenda. A motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Good news and celebrations.
Okay, we will start with our student recognition. So Mr. Butler is gonna make his way around, and Kayla, you're gonna make your way around to take pictures.
Director Butler will be handing out the awards this evening.
So first up tonight, we have Rex McKenzie from Miss Berry's 5th grade class.
No, thank you. She'd love a picture. I'm sure Mom would too. Come on.
Okay,
Here.
you want to take a picture? You
Want
can
a
stand in the middle.
No, not sure.
We'll get a little board picture. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Congratulations.
Good job. Next student of the month is Allison Rodriguez Garcia from Miss Coates' 5th grade class.
Can I get a photo? Is that okay?
Yeah, just stay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
And finally, 5th grade from Gold Bar, Miss Kerr's class is Alexa Ordaz-Mata.
Congratulations.
1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Nice job.
Staff member of the month from Gold Bar Elementary is Miss Melissa Mullins. From SES, we have a 2nd grader that last year achieved the top 1% of chess puzzle solvers in the world in the online competition. Phoenix Armitage Sig League. Staff member of the month from SES is Miss Molly McCarney.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
So much.
Congratulations.
From the middle school, the 8th grade student of the month was Mr. Henry Bennett.
Big, nice.
Henry, bend down.
Congratulations.
And finally tonight, 2 SMS staff members that got the Soaring Hawk Award, Mr. Chris and Miss Drake.
I figured I better figure out what's going on.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
No second, we've got one, no
Here,
second.
I'll find the window, don't worry about it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
We have one more, Mr. Butler.
Yeah, so
Cassie. Okay, from SMS, Cassie DeRoast.
Wow, impressive.
Congratulations.
Do you mind if I get a photo?
Alright, and ready, 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Thank you.
Alicia Nichols.
Do you mind if I get a photo? Is that cool?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, that's all of our students, and the ones, we recognize fifth grade and middle school tonight. The other students of the month for the other grade levels will receive their certificates in school, and so thank you for joining. You are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but families, if you, now's a good time to duck out if you wanna go have dinner and do
Is there
other
anyone
things.
here that was gonna get a certificate that did not, just to make sure?
All right.
Okay, thank you very much for
you.
coming.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. I'm there for the bike one. And the 30th.
We'll have to plan a date to play some chess.
That's pretty cool, man.
We need to get treats.
Crazy good break.
That's all right.
It's really good, yeah.
Thanks for coming.
I don't know where I got it from. It wasn't me.
I hate to volunteer for
Good
you.
to see you again.
That's really impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, clear out the room, guys.
I love it when we have like these, because you get like,
Yeah.
Pen drop.
Well,
all right.
we
Now
have
that the
enough
fun.
You
room
see
now?
what they really came for?
Yeah, students.
Everybody come back.
Yeah.
Oh, man, where are we gonna sit?
The seat right here.
All right, everybody get settled in. Board responses from previously asked questions. We did not have any previously asked questions that needed responses from last time. And just a reminder that we do not respond to any questions if there are any that are personnel matters, just so we remind everybody of that. And we do have public comment this evening, so I get to say my little script. Our board has adopted policy procedure 1400-1400P for meeting conduct, and this policy and procedure are available on the school district website. If you would like to speak, we have a sign-in sheet by the door. Some reminders, the total time allowed for public comment is 30 minutes, and each speaker has a maximum of 3 minutes. The public comment period is the only time that the public is recognized to speak. This is not a time for dialogue between the board and the public, but rather an opportunity for the board to listen to individuals on educational issues, and board members are encouraged to listen attentively. The board chair or superintendent might ask a speaker a clarifying question or respond to a specific comment. If you have a specific question or issue that you would like the district to follow up on, please let us know and someone will contact you within 72 hours. Finally, please remember that your words have impact and you, not the school district, are responsible for your words. We ask that you help us model for our students what a respectful and inclusive community looks and sounds like. Kayla, will you please start the timer when the first speaker is at the podium? And we have Dakota.
Okay.
You're up first.
I also have, I don't know if you guys want them, they're little handout print things, I made packets. You guys can do it if not. It's just yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start with saying nothing's personal, anything I say, it's nothing, don't take it personally, it's just, okay. So good evening, members of the board, my name is Dakota Epic, I'm a resident, a parent, and I'm honored to serve as 2026 Volunteer of the Year for the City of Sultan. I'm here because my commitment to this community compels me to speak out about a recurring pattern of poor judgment and a total lack of transparency in our district's leadership. My concerns began when I noticed the recent instability in our school's administration when I went online to see who was leading the school now. I was horrified through a simple internet search. I discovered that the spouse of the acting principal has an active restraining order against her, specifically protecting numerous children right here at elementary school. And it specifically says not within 1,000 feet of the school. And she also volunteers in the classroom with the school of those children. But this is not a random occurrence, this is a reoccurring documented legal issue. The acting principal and his wife had to have known about this history, yet it was not disclosed or addressed before placing this family in position of influence over our students. To be honest, as a parent, I no longer feel like my children are safe at school. I want to be clear, I'm not the only one concerned. Numerous parents have reached out to the district office leadership with questions and requests for information regarding these safety concerns. However, we have been met with nothing but silence or avoidance. It is because our local avenues have been ignored that I'm standing before this board tonight. This discovery led me to look deeper into our top leadership, where I found a similar pattern. Public records show the superintendent has filed for personal bankruptcy twice. The superintendent is the primary steward of our public funds. Right now, this district is asking taxpayers to approve millions in replacement levies, while we are simultaneously under a federal investigation by the Office for Civil Rights.
I'm gonna interrupt you
Oh.
real quick. Public comment isn't for talking
Oh.
about specific people. You
Okay.
we
Well, I
if
was
you
just-
have your
it was
stuff
a
in
gr-
here,
Yeah,
but
so,
we don't
okay,
talk
so-
about specific people,
Okay,
employees.
so I'm asking this board, what is your vetting process? Why are parents finding these safety risks and financial failures on the internet while you remain silent? Our community deserves leadership that is beyond reproach, leaders who are thoroughly vetted, fiscally responsible, and who prioritize the actual safety of our students above all else. We need transparency. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff Estes. It's been a while, Jeff.
It has, I'm a little rusty. Hi, my name is Jeff Estes, and I reside in Startup. I have some great news. Now that my hours as a tutor have been reduced, I now have more time on my hands to come and provide public comment at the school board meetings. Tonight, I'd like to focus on board meetings and proper protocol. In Washington State, school board meetings include regular meetings, business meetings, special meetings, and study sessions, and they must comply with Open Public Meetings Act, OPMA. Any gathering where a quorum of the board discusses or acts on school district business must be open to the public, with limited legal exceptions for executive sessions. Yes, you can classify your meeting as limited public forum, but you cannot eliminate time for public comment. In Washington State, school boards cannot eliminate public comment by labeling meetings as business meetings. Under OPMA and ESHB 1329, boards must provide an opportunity for public comment at all meetings where action is taken. Business meetings and study sessions on a board schedule are considered regular meetings, requiring public comment opportunities. In Washington State, if a school board violates the Open Public Meetings Act, OPMA, any actions taken are null and void, and members may face personal fines. First violation is $500. Subsequent violations are $1,000. During public comment, only clarification questions are allowed from board members. The board president may only interrupt or terminate public comment if it interferes with orderly conduct of the meeting. So right there, you violated something. Board members are expected to listen to the community and staff members' issues and respond to questions. Boards cannot restrict topics based on a speaker's viewpoint or prohibit criticism of the board or school policies. In other words, you cannot censor speech just because you disagree with it. In Washington State, school district boards must publicly announce and record the purpose of an executive session. Under the Open Public Meetings Act, OPMA, the presiding officer must state the specific reason and legal citation, that's RCW 42.30.110, for the session before excluding the public to go to executive session. This topic also needs to be entered into the meeting minutes. The board must cite the specific legal purpose, whether it's personnel, litigation, real estate, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Alright, thank you, Jeff. Alright, we have no student reps this evening, so no student rep report. Campus reports?
Campus reports are attached if you have any questions. Also, this is the middle school's evening to present, so Mr. Chappell and Ms. Kelly will present their slide deck.
We have one more student.
Oh.
Oh, yay.
Student recognition. Sorry, I know.
Oh, no, it's
No, no.
Oh, no, she's happy about it. You were the closest you should have gotten.
Let's meet up on them.
Okay, got it. way more exciting than that.
Okay. Come on up.
I have
Come on
to-
down. I got a certificate just for you. You want this? You can put it on. You better be careful, you're gonna trip over the shoes. Here's this for you. I'm very impressed. Can I get a photo, is that okay?
We're gonna take your picture.
Sure, so get pictures on this. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna go right here. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Did you wanna take it up there? Sure.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Well done. Thank you. No,
Thank you for coming.
sorry, mate.
Thank you, congratulations.
Tomorrow.
Thank you guys.
All right, floor is yours.
Do you want me to click on that? I don't know how you guys proceed on this, so.
Give me 1 second.
Let's go.
Okay, cause it's, feels like I have control up here too.
Push a few more buttons.
I just wanna, first of all, thank you, board, for letting us present tonight, letting you know a little bit about where we are at Sultan Middle School, with Ms. Kelly and myself presenting just kind of where we're at along the way, our journey. So our SIP, our school improvement plan is broken down into a couple of different categories with ELA, math, focus on attendance and also science. Our goal is obviously to increase our learning for our students, and we've done many things across the board to help with that. Some of those things is changing our schedule to help with closing the gap for our students who need reteaching for whatever reason that they may be struggling at. With ELA, they do many assessments, classroom assessments, STAR assessments. Currently, our goal is to increase that by about 10%. We're sitting, if I forward on to the next one, we're sitting about 57% with proficiency of our students with ELA across the board. I don't know if you want to go tag team back and forth, Carissa.
Whatever you would
Yeah,
like.
you want to go take math?
Yeah, so math, our goal is to increase by 10%. We know across the state, math is one of the lower ones, so we are focused on that. You can see our level 3 and 4 is about almost 32%. So we've really been focusing on using STAR and then as well as our interim tests for all of math. I think finished all of our interim.
Yeah,
Our
we're
first
no, we're
one.
still going a little bit with interims. Next week, I believe, is our last one. Our SBA testing will start in May. Some of you may have read that in our newsletter, our recent newsletter. Science, we've done some realignment with science in the last few years, and that's been slowly creeping up. With our goal wanting to increase that by 10%. Currently, we're at 35, but jumping to this next slide as well. If we look at our levels 2 to 4, we're really knocking it out of the water, but really high proficiency, we're sitting above state average with ELA and right close, getting close with math. Those have increased over the last few years, and that's good news. We're moving in the right direction. And we know with the hard work that our teachers continually to do in their classroom with the support of you guys and those around them, it'll continue to grow. Science has made leaps and bounds after our realignment with our curriculum as well, with our supporting curriculum. All of our curriculum is the state standards, but they've been continuously to grow, and it's super important for attendance. Attendance is part of our goals. That is low. We've been finding some different ways to get that increased. We wanted to update the numbers, but the numbers that we update with the state aren't the same numbers as presented here with the state report card. And so we didn't want to skew those numbers for you, but sitting what those numbers were given to us in the last week, we're about 80 or 90%. So we're doing some good things, and hopefully I know that attendance will be increasing the next report card out. you can kind of see where we're sitting at. We're on a great trajectory. The numbers have really been pleasing. Even with our STAR assessments and our interims, our teachers have been seeing great scores from our students, all their hard work for our students and our teachers, as well as the progress has been just moving on forward like we want to expect.
Yeah, so some interventions and extensions that we're doing is homeroom. Our grade levels meet in homeroom every day, and they kind of send out kids to other ones so they can focus on that intervention, especially with the kids that need just a little bit more of reteach, just so that they can understand it. School-wide, we're also focused on organization. So in every class, they are expected to get out their planners, fill in what they're doing for the week. We have planner checks in homeroom. We've also kind of built it in that on Fridays, if they have their planners filled out, they come and show one of us during lunchtime, and they get a ticket to put into for a drawing of little gadgets. And we even have one, it was like released to lunch 5 minutes early, and that was like the golden ticket. So our 8th graders really like that one, whereas the 6th graders want the pens or the calculators or the rulers. So we try to make it fun for them to want that, because they're trying to get those tickets to get pulled on Fridays. Our star data wall, so if you come into our cafeteria area, there's a big wall, and we've actually put star data on there so we can show growth. So even if they're not up to level, we've had a huge number of students at least move up a level, and we wanted to share it with them and show them of all the hard work that they've done.
Yeah, we'll look at to update the star data wall. We have the fall data up there along with the winter data. And then when we take it after our SBAs, the spring data will be up there as well. And again, we're looking for that growth, which is great. Along with organization, we've really focused in on AVID strategies throughout school-wide. And that's been part of it, where kids have certain colors for certain subjects throughout the school. So it's been really helpful. Getting kids organized and straight for not only for school but for life, and that's what it's about, is teaching the kids strategies to be successful as a person. So other things that we're doing inside the building is Tuesdays and Thursdays we have homework club. We're grateful for that to continue, as we have implemented that over the last couple of years. Really successful, where we have teachers come down and help students stay after school to catch up on work, things that they're not understanding. And then Fridays, we have Refuse to Fail Fridays, where we really work as grade level teams to identify students who are struggling to come in on after school on Friday for that extra help. So we know the importance of schoolwork and practice repetition and understanding the content. And on that, like, our paras and staff really come down and help that and drive that forward. And then monthly meetings with attendance, Ms. Kelly is spearheading that, and that's been going great. We've kind of modified that, and I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so weekly, we have a group that get together every Tuesday and kind of talk about attendance. We have an Excel sheet so we can see how many students have unexcused absences, what's going on. We try to keep notes of at least making the weekly calls of like, hey, just checking in, what's going on, trying to get that communication, because that's one of our big things that we're trying to push, is like, just communicate with us. And then monthly, we have a meeting, and usually we invite all the parents that have kids that have more than 11 or unexcused absences, or just excessive excused absences, and try to just come together with them and talk about like the importance of attendance, especially in the middle school years. We want them to be prepared to go and attend high school, where it's really gonna matter more. So just trying to teach them, like, this is when you get those good habits. And we have, I mean, I've taught at the high school forever. You always hear the students that are like, when I'm in high school, I'll change my ways. And I was like, well, I've been there for a long time, and that's not always true. So just trying to teach them, like, these are the times that you will start to build your endurance in going to school and the importance of it. And from those, we always start in a big group. And then if parents, we try, especially with the 8th graders, we try to invite them as well, because especially as an 8th grade, like, you really take ownership of that attendance. And so we try to have the whole family there. And then if they need to talk to us individually afterwards, we'll break out and talk to individual students and families. And we've had better success. When Paige was there, they tried to do individual meetings and it just got too much. So we moved it to like whole group monthly meetings and it seems like it's working better. We're gonna also try, normally it's in the morning. We're gonna try also in the afternoon to see if that's better for students and parents as like the day when they have to pick up their kids, see if that works.
Looking ahead, we're continuing to focus on creating an atmosphere of learning to increase our students' knowledge throughout all contents, but really focusing in on those core standards of math and ELA, driving home our attendance, the importance of being in school, being attentive and participating, actively participating in your learning. And really just trying to find different opportunities. I've got a great opportunity with Miss Kelly here to extend some learnings, and we've been bouncing off ideas of bringing high school down into the middle school, and some of that is maybe extending some opportunities with HOSA and FFA and Skills USA down into the middle school. And so we're looking to bring those opportunities to find just some way to excite our kids to be at school and to keep driving that education. And I think that concludes our.
Awesome. Thank you. Does
Appreciate
anybody
the
have any
opportunity.
questions?
Nope, very happy.
Thank you, great job.
Thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Monthly financial report is next.
Oh, for the fun, I'll walk that.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, the moment you all been waiting for.
Not.
All right. So, one of the things that I want to talk about is this is your annual average, FTE. So every month as we go on, it's the annual average as of that month. So when you look at these numbers, especially when we get to SPED, well, let's just get to SPED. 1, 2, 3, there we go. Where it says 379.83 as my annual average, my actual number is closer to 390. So when we take those kind of things into consideration, we're funded on our annual average. And so when we budgeted for an annual average of 2,065, we're 74.09. Less. I did math in my head. We don't do that often. And it took me a while to get there. So confidence builder for all you. So we're under where we budgeted. We knew that was gonna come in. We're under on ALE enrollment as well. And then SPED, we're under. Now, that's the trick though. We budgeted for 388 annual average. We're at about 389, 390. But because of the numbers being below that, our annual average is driven backwards, so. This is the number, general fund, ending fund balance. We are over where we were last year, so we're not at the lowest February, but we are pretty darn close. We're about 150,000 above last year's point in time. Cash in the bank, 474. Now, I explained last month, the difference between the fund balance and the cash in the bank is we have to do direct deposits, or when we pay accounts payable, we pay it out of the local bank account, so it's not in the account with the county. This is our cash with the county. So there's still some money with the county, or with the with Coastal Bank for accounts payable direct deposits. Month end for capital projects, 2.7 million. And, yep, okay. Debt service. I was looking at this picture, it reminds me of Christmas trees. So, made me smile. ASB, we're down just a little bit. Kind of typical for ASBs is, as the year goes on, that dollar amount goes down. The fundraisers have been done, a lot of them to this point, and so now we're working on spending out. So this is what I wanted to touch base on this one, because down on the bottom, you can see the percentage spent. And it's a percentage of the budgeted number, right? And so 3 years ago, we had spent 46% of our budgeted amount. Now last year's 48.47. This year we're at 48.08. 48.08, okay, so our spending percent's down. You gotta look at that's of budgeted numbers, right? And 3 years ago, we were budgeted at 39.7 million. We're budgeted at 46. And so the difference, there's a big swing there. So revenues were at 44.65% of budget. Love to see that number bigger. This is the worst of all. Expenditures over revenues. 3 years ago, we were only 200,000 over. Last year, we were 1.3 million over. This year, we're $1.8 million expenditures over revenues. This is why last month we came with we need to borrow from capital projects to make it through the year. We have instituted a spending freeze. There are certain programs that we have to spend the money for, CTE being one of those programs. If you don't spend it, the state will take it back. So there are certain things that we still get to spend in. So it's not equal across the board. But we're still trying to analyze every expenditure. Is it necessary? Do we have to do it? Is there a better price out there? How do we do this? So, surprise to Dr. Granger, surprise to you guys. Next month I need to bring budget extensions because we've gotten $950,000 in capital projects grants. So we need more expenditure authority in capital projects. Debt service, there was also a piece that wasn't budgeted for that we need to increase that one as well. So I will be bringing the request to spend more money, but it won't be in general fund. Questions?
Michael?
No, it's apprehension. I'm good. No questions.
Isaac?
No questions.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright. Oh, this is me. Legislative update. So the legislative session ended on March the 12th. They weren't very nice to us. They did include a 2.6% inflationary adjustment for state-funded staff and MSOC cost. But $25 million reduction to the local effort assistance. That reduces the 2027 planned LEA increases from $250 a student to $150 a student. $27 million reduction to transition to kindergarten. That reduces state-funded slots by around 33%. $21 million reduction to the school bus depreciation that I think Mitch had talked about before, or somebody had talked about it. $7 million reduction to running start. Positive, they did exempt the K through 12 system from sales taxes created during the 2025 session by ESSB 5814. So it begins on July 1st, 2026. So mostly bad. Tiny bit of good. That's the legislative part of it. Leadership WASDA, real quick. Some of you guys know like that I've kind of been going to something. It's Leadership WASDA is a program that's done through WASDA that you apply to, you can get into it, and you learn about how to be a better leader, and that hopefully you can bring a lot of that stuff back to the school district. The first two were in Olympia and at the WASDA office, and we went to the Capitol, and this last one went to WASDA office and to OSPI. And we actually got a 1 hour sit down with Chris Reichdahl, which was nice. Mostly nice. I wanted to, just a couple of things from the OSPI visit. They've had 11% staff reduction at OSPI. They say that we are $900 million underfunded by the legislature. He's pushing for timber money to go back to the forest, but for the state to make up for that difference is what he would like. I'm past it. I
Didn't
took
they just cut a
lots
bunch of money?
notes. I know. I took a lot of notes. Regionalization, he believes that like higher cost of living areas should have higher salaries, but that the rural areas should get more in other ways because we lose out on a lot of stuff because we don't have like a higher tax base. TTK, they say they're waiting for the bill to be signed as there might be some vetoes on the language. So we're not exactly sure how the TTK cuts, how it's gonna be because there might be vetoes on the language. And also, and I think we talked about this before, but the legislator, how they pulled the TTK from K through 12 a few years ago so that they could cut it. Because they can't really cut the K through 12 because it's basic ed. While the measure for the fund balance did not pass, OSPI is in favor of a minimum fund balance, but he doesn't think it will ever pass. But that's his thing. Last one, only 12 states elect their state superintendent, which can be a good thing because they don't have to answer to the governor. So not on the governor's whim does, their answer to the voters, so. Any questions? All right, that was mine.
Thank you, Gigi.
And if you guys are interested in the leadership WASDA, it's actually, let me know, cause it's, they try to do it every year. And, I get to go to Yakima next, and then there's like a graduation at the WASDA conference in November. All right, superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. Wanted to let you know that we did receive a second weight room grant. We got the first $25,000 a couple months ago. We got another $3,500 through the grant person that we're working with and with the help of Ben Murphy and Chris Hill and Mitch and I. So just wanted to share that. As Mitch stated, we got some other grants, including for 3 dishwashers that we're in desperate need of replacement. So that's what he's referencing. I didn't know he was gonna say budget extension, but makes sense because we have the revenue coming in, not from local dollars. So that'll be a good support to food service and to students. We have, Gigi hit most of what I was gonna say, legislative session. The most devastating for us is transitional kinder reductions and the delegation of OSPI working with the CYF to decide a little bit about where the slots go. That's been the most impactful early learning program that I've seen implemented in public education, and to see it clawed back with resounding data that says it's improving students' readiness for kindergarten, especially in areas where we don't have early learning. If we don't offer it, students can't get it. So definitely, that's one we're tracking. OSPI is working to have something out in April. They're hoping with at least some preliminary guidance, but waiting to see on that. So definitely, that is not what we were hoping to see from them. The 2 things I'll say at the end, and then we can either discuss or answer questions. One was around the school calendar that we talked about before, that the alternative calendar was getting some support from our labor partners, and so the community survey went out. It's been open for a little bit over 2 weeks, and it's about 50-50. Whether people want something different or the same, most of it revolves around always having started after Labor Day. There's some tricks to that when Labor Day is the 7th, because it pushes the start back late. Also, the balanced calendar that's the alternative is centered around an increase in families that are taking week-long type vacations and their students are just missing class anyway. Also, employees' work-life balance, as we've talked about before, trying to recruit and be competitive in the job market in a rural area. Why would somebody drive 7 miles past Monroe? it might be because we have a calendar that provides a little bit more flexibility and just, we would run intervention during those 1 week in October and 1 in April. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we would try to instead of having summer school, have teachers get additional pay to come in and work with students that need extra help. So it's not just time off for time off.
I have a question on.
Oh, yes.
So one of the comments that I saw, we talked about was that a lot of kids are showing at the fair and things like that. Is that, you guys researched that, correct?
My understanding based on my conversations is we haven't had anybody show through FFA in at least the last 3 years. That's what I understand, and we did have, the other one was that we had a lot of employees that worked at the fair. My understanding out of the last bargain was it was one employee and that person no longer works for us. So I think there are some historical beliefs that people have. I'm not saying we've spent a ton of time surveying every person, but I do think that there are some historical practices that people believe to be still continuing that may or may not be 100% accurate. I think they're accurate for some people. So the next step on that, I did talk to the union this afternoon, is that we will talk about it at bargaining, which we start the week of April 20th, so, with them. So hopefully by the next time we meet, we'll have at least a little bit of preview. The initial feedback is that there is people that are willing to try a different calendar, something a little different. Start before Labor Day, try something, so there's that. The next item that I just wanted to talk about a little bit was the bond issue. I know we've talked a little bit about the bond and whether the board will have to decide November versus February. There's some positives and negatives to the initiatives being on the ballot in November and what that'll do to drive voters to the poll. And then the flip side would be putting it up in February, if at all. You would have potentially a validation concern if you passed, because you won't likely have as high a voter turnout in February as you do in November. We do have the Zervis architects costing out the projects that the CFAC had brought forward. So that would be the new high school up on the Sultan Basin, the expansion of Gold Bar to serve all of the K2 students of the district, and then the 3-5 elementary. So just maybe if there's some thought on, are you wanting us to bring a resolution to you so that we can get information out to people? For us, the trick is, if we don't put a resolution out soon, we lose people's attention in the months of June, July, and August that would lead up to a potential November vote. So just maybe some discussion or guidance around what you'd like us to bring forward, since we're almost to the April meeting, and maybe what the board's desire is around that.
You guys have thoughts on that?
I mean, from what I understand, November's, we almost have to do it in November for the 60%, so move now, right? Am I off? I mean, maybe not this November, but
I think November probably, it's so tough.
It's
So I
short,
think
but-
it makes the most sense.
it makes the most sense. I don't know if even this November feels like it might be too close, or maybe we should start planning for the November after. I know that's a long way out, but rather be a long way out than trying to cram it at the last minute.
Mike?
I would go on based on what the committee would like to see. And if they feel that they can do it in November, great. If they need to push it out, then great as well, but I'd like to see more numbers as well around overall costs, because
Yep.
we're gonna have to understand what those costs are.
Right.
Those would be my concerns.
Mine was to get the actual costs, to see what these numbers are gonna be. I'm worried they're gonna be extremely high. And our economy's not great at the moment, so asking more is gonna be hard, but obviously we need these things. So, but to get more numbers before we make a decision would be great.
I mean, the last bond was what, in the 90s? The last bond passed?
And it was
Yeah.
like,
Is that right?
wasn't it like 5 million?
Yeah, it wasn't even, it was for upgrades. I
It
mean,
wasn't nothing.
Our levy is that now.
you know, we've put off. I mean, I don't disagree, it's gonna be expensive, but you can't keep kicking the can. How
It's-
far can you kick the can?
They've kicked it pretty far.
That's one of the complaints people have had in the past, is we keep kicking the can down the road, but then when we don't kick it and we want, we put it on, then it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a hard situation. I agree, it'd be nice to have some proposal, but I'm leaning towards November personally.
Well, we'll just keep pushing forward. Zervis is working on the numbers, so as soon as we can get those to the committee, and then we can bring it back for discussion. Even if we put it on for action, but then decide not to do it, it gives us the most flexibility. If we're gonna do November, I just don't wanna lose some key months for communication with
Yeah.
voters, cause
Yeah, the sooner the better to decide what we wanna do.
You know, I mean, yeah, it acts as where are people at? If we do it in November, it gives us a heads up.
so that's all I have. Thank you.
But did you say when were they gonna get those numbers to us?
They were here last Thursday, so I'll follow up with them and find out.
All right, consent agenda. Any questions on the consent agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second?
I will.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. All right, policy 1731, first read. I'm gonna jump in, just talking with Marianne, we're wanting to see if we could table this to next meeting. Anybody have an issue with that?
No, that's fine. If there's something language-wise that the reason
She
behind.
had some questions, about some specifics and
Okay.
stuff, so I think it'd be better just when
Yep.
she's here,
I-
so.
I
Can I get a
follow.
motion to table policy 1731 first read?
Sure, I'll motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Policy 5401 to 5404, leave policies first read.
Ready for me?
Yes.
Okay, both of these policies are WASDA models to reflect changes in sick leave and FMLA language. It cleans up some of the specific references to old language and cites the RCWs so that as things change, you're not falling behind on policies. I did have Isaac review these. None of them conflict with our collective bargaining agreements. There's no language that is restrictive. We took those parts out. There was a WASDA thing that said if you have collective bargaining agreements that address this, these are only optional. So just bringing these to you for update on first reading this month.
Michael, questions?
Nope.
Mike,
No questions.
Isaac?
No.
I have none. Can I get a motion to approve first read of policies 5401 and 5404?
Motion to approve policies 5401 and 5404.
First read.
First read.
Can I get a second?
My second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right. K5 literacy materials purchase.
So, as the board is aware, there was some discussion prior to when I got here and then through the summer bargaining process about a desire to review and evaluate our current K-5 literacy curriculum, Fontes and Pinnell. Through an agreement with the union, there was an alternative timeline and pathway forward for this that was led by the teaching and learning department. That process, consistent with my understanding is how it's been carried out in the past, has been completed with a recommendation to the board for benchmark advanced ELA for K-5. We will utilize this experience as well to just think about how we'll do curriculum adoptions moving forward as well. As we're gonna have some parent partnership things on the agenda in the future, and what does it look like moving forward? But asking the board to approve the recommendation of the committee.
Isaac, questions?
No.
Mike?
What costs are associated with that?
A little over $300,000.
That's my only question.
Michael?
No.
I have no questions.
And we accounted for that in our planning process.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve K-5 literacy materials purchase?
I'll motion to approve the K-5 literacy purchase.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. OSPI waiver application for December 2025 flood.
So one of the requirements of waivers is that the board has seen and supports a waiver application. I didn't know how you have done this in the past, but putting on the board agenda seemed to make the most sense. Because we already have waived the 4 parent conference days and the 2 professional development days, and we're only running 174 student calendar, we don't have much flexibility to waive days that we missed. So we need to make up 1 day and a little bit more than 45 minutes, if you can believe that, when you run the math on the average, not the second day. So the waiver that we're submitting would convert Friday, May 1st from an early release Friday to a full school day. It would change Thursday, June 11th, which is currently the last day of school, from a half day to a full day. And then change June 12th, which is Friday, to a half day of school. We expect that OSPI is going to waive the other student day. If we couldn't get the waiver, we would have to come back to school on Monday the 15th. But we expect the student day to get waived. Employees will owe us 1 more day of work, consistent with their contract and collective bargaining agreements. So we'll be working with our labor partners on what that looks like. Likely is gonna center around K-5 literacy learning or our transition and cumulative for student information systems. So we'll work with both our labor unions to work through what that looks like for employees, but asking for board support of the submittal of this waiver application.
Isaac, questions?
No questions.
Michael?
I'm sure we're gonna warn parents and everything ahead of time. Are we gonna have something in place for parents that are unprepared?
Tell me, like, they're not gonna send their kids to school?
No,
Oh.
I mean, if we're
Like the
gonna
half
hold
day.
them longer and they show up early or, right? We're
Oh,
holding
you're talking about on
everything-
the Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going out tomorrow in the community newsletter. We'll make sure our campuses are communicating. But, campuses are generally secured up until right before school's out. So if people show up at
You know people are gonna show up early
1:45,
though.
the gates are likely gonna be locked, not like they are at 3.
Sure,
So-
I'm just thinking,
But yes, thank you.
somebody's gonna show up early and.
Sorry, I thought you meant
Like
about
it.
the June 12th day. I was like, yeah, we
Oh,
wanted to
well,
come, but
yeah.
I couldn't swear to you they're all gonna show up.
Right.
All right, can I get a motion to approve OSPI waiver application?
I'll motion to approve the OSPI waiver application.
Thank you, it's a record for you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Resolution 25-06, development of a
sorry,
reduction,
missing
reduced
that.
educational plan?
Yes, so not sure what the past practice has been on reduced educational plans, but in order to develop a plan to bring to the board, there's a resolution that says, go forth and develop a plan, which we have been in the process of doing. This would basically direct us and authorize us to bring you a plan next month that would identify the positions in which the district will be reducing from its employee pool for the 26-27 school year. So we continue to work diligently at this every day. Every time someone turns in a notice that they're not returning the next year, it causes a shift. Our main focus is placing as many, if not all, of our current employees in positions that we have. It will be much easier on the classified side. We have many contracted classified positions that we've posted. We'll have more classified openings than we have classified employees. So should they choose to remain employed in some fashion, there will be options for them. On the teaching side, it's not as plain easy because it depends on what they're credentialed to teach and their seniority in teaching. Also, the TK, the unknowns around TK are concerning, so you'll likely see those on the plan, not to indicate that the district wants to reduce that program, but if we don't have assurances that the state's going to fund X number of slots, then we have a requirement by May 15th to notify employees that are certificated that they're not gonna be employed prior to that date. So even after we bring the resolution to you next month, we will continue to work at it and continue to plug away at doing that. We have had good conversations with both of our labor partners, I would say, about trying to minimize the impact of employees, interpreting the language the same way, or at least trying to have a conversation, what do we think this means, so that we're giving consistent messaging. And our goal is to, by next Friday, tell any employees who might be impacted, you might be impacted based on your seniority or certification, so that they have ample time, should they wanna seek alternatives, that they're not told May 12th or 13th. We had 2 Q&As today for staff just to answer questions, and I just remind them, the data that we give is only good for that day. If the next day another person comes in and says they're moving out of state or something, you know, the dominoes start to move again in a different way. So, but just wanted to be clear, our main focus is to place people in jobs based on their credentials by eliminating our contracted positions and retain the employment of the maximum number of our employees with our district as possible.
Well, and I was gonna say too, like for the TTK, we were told like it was 12 to 13 days they had, but I don't think any of us asked for 12 to 13 days from what. So I don't know if it was the end of the session. I think that's what he said, 12 to 13 business days before they would know the language, if there's gonna be any vetoes.
We'll see what gets vetoed, cause in there it says that DCYF and OSPI have to decide by June 30th of each year, the slots for the next year. Well, June 30th is well after May 15th and doesn't help school districts that need to make these decisions, and for families in our community that have seen this program thrive and were expecting or anticipating that their child was going to be in this program.
Sure, they wanna be able to make alternate plans
Right.
before it's too late.
Yeah, so on all fronts, it's not, but just wanted to walk, so this is the resolution to develop the plan. Next month you will see a spreadsheet that would say, here's what we're reducing. The positions that are done by attrition are marked as attrition, so that there's clarity, that we're being as open and honest as possible. If we could probably get away with saying we're not doing a RIF because we have enough provisional employees and we have but we need to be, my opinion is, we need to be clear with the board and community, these are positions we're not filling. So, yes, we have 2 less of this type of employee, 2 people may have left, but we're still, in my mind, communicating that we are working with less staff than we were before, because as the state continues to not fund education, I feel like, and our team feels like, we need to be honest about what that impact is to our community. And if we don't do it that way, I think it can be viewed as, well, nothing's really changing, even though behind the scenes things are. Cause most people don't know when we don't fill a job. They go on about their day, and just trying to put as much information in front of people so they understand, and hope that we can drive some advocacy from our parents and community to the legislators that represent us, that we can't keep seeing decreases in investments in public education as a % of the state's budget and be told that education's important, because those,
$900 million shortage.
yeah, those messages are in direct conflict, in my opinion. And our job's to advocate for our kids and our staff and our community, and we'll continue to do that as a team, as I know the board will. So by no means is this what any of us wanna be doing, but we also have to right size our district to the model that exists and the enrollment that we're projecting, so.
Can I get a motion to approve resolution 2506, development of a reduced educational plan?
A motion.
A second? Key motions for resolution, to approve resolution 2506, development of a reduced educational plan. A second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, and we do have an executive session, and is that review performance of a public employee?
And real estate
And
acquisition.
real estate acquisition.
Yes, ma'am.
It is, and we're expecting 20 minutes?
20 minutes, yeah.
Okay, it's 6:59. If we can give ourselves 10 minutes, come back at 7:10, and then be done at 7:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I get a motion to adjourn and go into executive session?
Motion to adjourn and go into executive session.
Second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. All right. Meeting adjourned.